Hello everybody and welcome to this random video. By now you probably know what these random videos are about. I got a random message from someone earlier today called LisaDark. I'm going to show you now the first message I got. Let me just move my mouse out of the way from my PC. I know you guys can't see it, but on my screen I can, because I'm viewing this through my recording software. So the first message, I get a message, I get a message, she's basically calling me an idiot, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. So I get a message calling me an idiot. So I take it that this person has seen the conversations that me and Leandro have been having on YouTube. That was about whether or not this person was Elvis, or someone that we knew from, like, I don't know, 2 years ago, so something like that. Anyway, I get this random message. I wasn't even in the room. I was on a different game at the time. Wasn't even on my PlayStation. So I get this random message calling me an idiot. So I send a message back. Oops, that's Don Leandro. He goes on to say about how being in wet conditions somehow equals him being the quote best racer, or quote fastest racer, quote, in IV. Well, it'll make you a good racer, because it is challenging when you're in different conditions and with traffic. He also went on to say, or he or she went on to say, that when racing with traffic, it somehow makes you the best racer or the best driver. Well, it'll make you good in traffic, but if you are comparing it to the fastest racers, then that is absolutely wrong. Because in order to achieve, if you're talking about times, in order to achieve the fastest times on G.T.E IV, you cannot have wet conditions, and you can't have traffic, and you cannot have pedestrians. The pedestrians, the reason why you can't have them, because fastest times require you to use the curb. Now, if you're squashing pedestrians left, right and centre, there's no way you're going to achieve the fastest times. Weather-wise, if you are racing in wet conditions, you're not going to be able to go as fast around corners versus dry conditions. So that's going to slow down your times. Traffic's probably the worst one, especially online, if you've set it to high traffic. Traffic has a tendency to pop in and out, so you could be looking behind you, there could be nothing in front of you, and then you look behind you, and then you look back in front of you, and then all of a sudden there's a car in front of you and you smash into it. So impossible to get the those fastest times that way. So the only way to achieve the fastest times is no pedestrians, dry conditions, and no pedestrians, dry conditions. What was the other one? Oh, and no damage as well. No damage, because when you have damage, some tracks require, well, in lap times, some tracks require you to ride walls, which can damage the car if you don't come off it properly. Drag kings, you're kind of deflecting or smashing into a wall in order to stop you quick. So for example, the last corner on drag kings, you bounce off that wall there and you go through the garage, and then you're back onto the straight to the start finish line. Same with deflections, so short circuit, the post on short circuit, when you deflect off that will damage the car if it's not set to scrapes only. So anyway, back to LisaDark, as me going on and on and on. So like I've just said, LisaDark sent me a message saying that somehow when you have no traffic, it requires, it means you have no skill. Visit a driver school. If he's that concerned, yes, I do indeed drive in real life, so I'll just leave it there. I drive hardcore in raining traffic, normal damage. But what does that prove? It doesn't prove you're the fastest. It really only proves that you're good in traffic. I mean, that's it. It ends there. It doesn't prove you're the fastest. Never will prove you're the fastest. But onto the no skills. I don't really understand. Well, the only thing you understand is that the car is harder to control in the rain, yes, but it's a lot harder to get the fastest times possible in dry conditions with no traffic and no pedestrians, because you're trying to go as fast as you possibly can. The car's limit, whatever car you're driving. Now in traffic, you tend to be more cautious to hand back because you know you're not going to get fast times. So you're slow going in and around cars, and so it's absolute nonsense to think that somehow when you're in traffic it requires skill, when all you have to do really is be cautious. That's it. Same as with the rain as well. You know you're not going to get the same times as if you were in dry conditions. So what do? You back off the throttle a little bit, and you go a little bit slower. So, but according to he or she, it requires no skill. So. And then I'm a rookie apparently, quit and run. Now the quit and run thing, he said, I raced him and we were on quick knives, and I noticed something quite suspicious. It was a muscle. The car class we were in was a muscle class, and he was using a Super GT and I was using a Super GT. Now on the final straight towards Quick Knives, you come down, well, what looks like a slit road, but it's actually the main highway. You come down, and just before you've got the two little mini hills, just before the start finish line. I backed off a little bit there, because I thought, you know what, I'm going to give myself some space, because there's that much traffic, if he crashes and I'm right behind him, you already know the answer to that. You know, it's like for those of you that drive, if you're tailgating someone and the person in front brake checks you and you're not ready for it, there's only one place you're going, and that's in the back of the other driver. If you're no, I'm not comparing real life to game. No, you just don't do that. But the idea is the same. In IV, if he or she crashes, and I'm right behind he or she, I'm going to crash also. So I created a gap, and lo and behold, this guy or whatever crashes. Now I overtake, and straight away, within a second of passing this person, they quit. Now, if this person is so fast, I'm going to send you another. I'm going to show you another message. Calling King Bone a gimp when he would absolutely fucking whoop his ass in a race. Oh, that's funny. Just trying to look for the one where he says. There's one where he says that he quit because I was too slow. Is it down here? Yeah, that was it. Yeah, bored, you slow. Well, he quit after that, and then I sent him a message, and then he sent me that back saying I was too slow. Well, if this guy is, or girl or whatever, is that fast as he or she claims to be, then why not try and catch me up? Why rage quit? The fastest racers don't rage quit. So I don't get that. Again, just chatting absolute dog shit. Ask Leandro how slow you are, not how fast, how slow you are. Totally in real races. He wouldn't know that because he's racing with traffic high and pedestrians and wet conditions. Doesn't make sense also because hang on a minute, doesn't a real race have no traffic? Doesn't a real race have no pedestrians? We don't include the weather because you can race in bad conditions, but the traffic and the pedestrians, I mean, what kind of racing is he talking about? If he means pure racing, then yeah, you're not going to race with traffic on. You're certainly not going to race with pedestrians on the sidewalks. So I'm partly a newcomer. Anyway, you get how he is. In response to that, he put I also drive with no traffic. Correct, he has done, and I think it was just today. But I read King Bone's message or comment, and he said that King Bone beat him in a race. King Bone said that he beat him in a race and he rage quit. And I do believe King Bone, definitely, because he done the same to me. As soon as I overtook him, within a second he was gone out the race, rage quit. What a sore loser. Now, anyway, to stop this video being too long, I clicked on who he was, and this person, LisaDark, is in fact Elvis Presley in 1995. And after that, I pretty much straight up blocked him straight away, because I knew the way he was talking, he wouldn't take no for an answer. He's that kind of person where you try and talk sense, and I explained to him why no traffic is actually more challenging in terms of lap times, not driving. I'm talking about lap times. If you want the fastest lap times, you cannot have traffic on. If you want the fastest lap times, you cannot have wet conditions. If you want the fastest lap times, you cannot have pedestrians. If you want the fastest lap times, you cannot have damage on. Well, he'll probably well, he did. He turned around and said, "Oh, that's not proper racing." Well, then, proper racing. In proper racing, you don't have traffic. You don't have pedestrians. Yeah, you have damage, Yeah, you can have different conditions, but this is what G.T.E allows us to do, because it's a playground game, isn't it? It's not your Gran Turismos, it's not your Forces, it's not your your project cars or whatever. It's not like it's a playground game. There's no penalty that pops up giving you a 5-second penalty for you deflecting off a post. You don't automatically lose a lap for ramming into someone, even though you shouldn't do that anyway. There is no penalty. It's a free for all. As long as you go through the checkpoints within a certain radius, you can race however you want. But because we won't bow our heads to this guy's rules, to his rule book, he has a hissy fit and says that none of yous are faster than me because I race, quote, properly, quote. Now, if he wants to race like that, he can just go to Gran Turismo. Just go to a racing game that has the nearest possible rules to real life racing. Trying to apply that rule set here will get you absolutely nowhere, because this is not, the rules that are in IV racing are not real rules. Like I've just said, you won't get a penalty for deflecting off a post. You won't get a penalty for driving on the curb. You won't get a penalty for riding on the wall. So, but anyway, I think I'll leave it there. Like I said, I don't want this video to be too long. I don't even know how long this video is. 17 minutes actually. 17 minutes. But it's amazing, isn't he? Amazing. In his own basement dwelling way, he's amazing. But once again, I can't really say that have you enjoyed this video, because it's about this guy again. One thing I suggest, that if you've got LisaDark on your friends list and you know who Elvis Presley is, then you know what you need to do, because this is Elvis Presley 1995. One thing I forgot to mention as well is, before he crashed, just before you come out of the slit road onto that highway, is that he accelerated away from me like shit. And it was, when I found out it was Elvis Presley, or I just knew it was Elvis Presley, when I kind of clicked on and I put 2 and 2 together and thought, okay, he accelerated away from me because that was super speed. I mean, he had the acceleration of a freaking Comet, or a Coquette, which has the second highest. No, a Sultan RS, which has the highest acceleration in the game. It's the fastest accelerating car in the game, the Sultan RS. And I was like, whoa, Jesus Christ! I was like, that's not right. And you put 2 and 2 together, and then it was like, okay, he definitely is modding. This is Elvis Presley, because he has to win that way. There's no other way he can win. But like I said, LisaDark equals Elvis Presley. Delete this absolute worm off your friends list. He's not wanted by anybody. You live in this fantasy world, claiming that he's the fastest and all that, but he's modding left, right, and centre. I also know what he's doing as well when there's no traffic. Now, when you've got a mod menu, there is, and the reason why I know all this, by the way, because I've tested all this out in free mode. This is how I know all of this. I don't test and race. This is all free mode based. with my other PS3, and that's how I know. I don't test it in other players in race. I don't do that. For those of you who know, I have 2 PS3s. So the female portion now, excuse me, if you set a lobby to high traffic and in your mod menu you disable traffic, the mod menu will overwrite the setting for the lobby in your vicinity. Okay, so let's say you're not next to any players at all, any other players, and the traffic for that lobby is set to high, and in your mod menu you have traffic switched off. Okay, so the traffic doesn't spawn. That means the traffic won't spawn. Okay, but if another player who doesn't mod comes into your area, into your vicinity, traffic will start to spawn around you, because on their screen they don't mod. They're not modding. So the cars will spawn in. Now then, so apply this to the Elvis thing, and this is how he's gaining an advantage. So for a normal player, for a non-modder who goes into that lobby with LisaDark, aka Elvis Presley now has the traffic on. This is his idea. This is how he's trying to win the race, right? So if he can get a far enough lead into the race, that puts us out of his vicinity. The traffic for him isn't going to spawn because his mod menu doesn't allow for the spawning of traffic, even though the lobby says that the traffic is set to high. But for us, guess what? We don't mod, so for us we have high traffic all the time. But for him, all he has to do is get away into the lead, and then he has a massive advantage. It's like having parked traffic for him. So he's gaining an advantage that way. But what pissed him off is that he couldn't get away from me because I wasn't on my modded PS3. Traffic was spawning because he set traffic to high, so he fucking crashed, and that's what pissed him off, and that's why he quit. So now you know. Well, that's what I think. That's what the idea is. I think why he's setting the traffic to high and setting the weather to rainy. It's just to give him the, how can I say it? It makes it look like he's not really modding in a sense, because I mean, how can you tell if traffic isn't spawning around him? You can't unless the only way you would know for certain that he was modding is if you had a mod menu yourself that didn't allow for the spawning of traffic. And then if traffic didn't spawn, if the lobby was set to high traffic and you had a mod menu that didn't allow the spawning of traffic, that's how you would know that he was also a modder, or a modder that doesn't have the spawning of traffic on. Because if he is not a modder, then traffic would spawn around you even though you had spawn traffic on. So I know it's difficult to understand, but just go back into the video and just listen to what I said again. But anyway, I'm going to end it there. So LisaDark, aka is Elvis Presley. Petrovich 984, same person. Spank Ballerina, you remember that one? Tried to freeze me on exhaust fumes. Yeah, same person. So delete LisaDark off your friends lists. It's Elvis Presley. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you hear my voice. I will see you in the next video.